Amy and Daniel Russo had traded the bustling streets of New York City for a quieter life near Lookout Mountain, Colorado. Their new home sat on the edge of the wilderness, a rustic cabin surrounded by towering pines and a stunning view of the Rockies. They were eager to embrace this new chapter, relishing the crisp mountain air and the promise of adventure. On their first trip into the nearby town of Golden to gather supplies, they stopped at a local diner for lunch. The warm interior was filled with the chatter of locals, and the smell of coffee and freshly cooked burgers was comforting. As they ate, an older man sitting at the counter struck up a conversation.
New to the area?
We just moved here from New York. Bought a house near Lookout Mountain.
I know the place. You two like the snow?
We've seen our share of snowstorms back east. We'll manage.
Let me give you some advice. If you hear a thundersnow brewing, stay inside. No matter what you hear or see, do not go outside.
Thundersnow, is that even real?
Oh, it's real and dangerous. I was a park ranger up there for 40 years. Saw some things I'll never forget.
He then shared a chilling story about a homeowner who vanished during a thundersnow years ago. The next day, the man's blood was found behind his house, alongside drag marks leading into the mountains.
The thing that killed him only comes down the mountain during a thundersnow. It doesn't matter if it's man or beast, it'll take its prey and disappear.
Amy and Daniel exchanged skeptical glances. The story was absurd. They thanked the man for his concern, but dismissed his warnings as the ramblings of an eccentric retiree. Weeks later, winter descended in full force, blanketing the mountain in snow. One evening, as the couple settled by the fire, the forecast called for an unusual weather phenomenon, a thundersnow.
Looks like the old ranger was onto something, at least about the weather.
The storm rolled in swiftly, with snow falling heavily and lightning illuminating the sky. Thunder rumbled, muffled by the thick snowflakes. As the night wore on, Amy thought she heard strange noises outside, a low growl, followed by what sounded like heavy footsteps crunching through the snow.
Did you hear that?
Probably just a deer or something. Relax.
But the sound came again, louder and closer this time. A deep, guttural growl that seemed to vibrate through the cabin walls.
I don't think that's a deer, Daniel.
Despite her protests, Daniel grabbed a flashlight and cautiously opened the door, the freezing wind biting his face. The beam of light cut through the swirling snow, revealing enormous tracks in the fresh powder, tracks that were too large and misshapen to belong to any known animal. Suddenly, the wind carried a blood-curdling howl, and a hulking shadow moved at the edge of the forest. The flashlight caught a pair of glowing eyes, and the creature stepped into view. It was massive, standing on two legs but hunched like a predator. Its fur was matted with ice, and its claws glinted in the dim light. Its face was grotesque, a terrifying mix of sharp angles and gnarled flesh. The teeth like jagged shards of bone.
Daniel, get back inside.
Amy screamed, yanking Daniel back inside as the creature let out a deafening roar that shook the cabin. Daniel bolted the door and grabbed the fireplace poker, his hands trembling.
What the hell is that?
I don't know, but we're not going outside.
The creature began circling the cabin, its heavy footsteps crunching through the snow. Every so often, It would slam against the walls, testing the strength of the wood. Windows rattled, and its guttural breathing echoed through the storm. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out, plunging the cabin into darkness. Amy's breath hitched as she fumbled for a candle. In the faint glow, shadows danced ominously across the walls. A loud crash came from the back of the house. The creature had ripped one of the shutters clean off and was clawing at the window. Amy and Daniel huddled together, hearts pounding, as shards of glass fell to the floor.
It's trying to get in.
We have to hold out. It'll leave when the storm passes.
The creature snarled, its claws scraping against the walls. Minutes felt like hours as they endured the relentless assault. The Thundersnow roared on, lightning illuminating the beast's shadow as it prowled outside. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the storm began to wane. The creature let out one final, piercing howl before retreating into the forest. When dawn broke, the couple cautiously stepped outside. The snow was littered with enormous tracks, which led back toward the mountains. Shards of glass and claw marks scarred the cabin's exterior, a chilling reminder of the night's events.
Do you think it'll come back?
If it does, we'll be ready. But next time, we're not taking any chances.
From that day on, they heeded the old ranger's warnings and shared their harrowing experience with anyone who would listen. The Thundersnow was no longer a myth. It was a deadly truth.